Now that I've fired a few rounds through the barrel, I want to do a quick clean of the barrel in action. So first I'm going to clean the barrel, and then I can take it home and I can finish off the action. Here I have BoreTech Eliminator. It's a great product. I've talked about it before on the blog, and I do recommend using it. It's quick and fast. The instructions are: wet 3 to 4 patches with Eliminator and push through bore to remove loose fouling. Only push patches through the bore in one direction. Number 2. Next, make 10 to 15 passes with a tight fitting nylon brush saturated with Eliminator. Step 3. Repeat step 1, which is 3 to 4 wet patches, and let Eliminator soak for 3 to 5 minutes. Step 4. Finally push dry patches through the bore until they come out clean. Then you get 5 and 6 by storing your rifle. So let's wet up a few patches, push them through and see what they look like. And I'm going to put my patches on center line through this is also from BoreTech. It's the proof positive jag, so you shouldn't get any copper readings from brass. So soak the patch well. Give it a good soaking. Always, before you run any patches or any cleaning products through your rifle, it's always good to cover off your scope, your optics, the glass, so that you don't get any splashbacks on it. I have a tight fitting chamber rod bore guide, and I've also this little rag just to stop any splashes falling onto the stock itself and maybe discolouring it. So to gently guide the rod through to the grasp on the rifle, but never hold on to the rod itself. When you're pushing through, use the handle, as it will spin with the rifling as it goes down the bore. Usually the first one's a little tougher. Okay, she's popped out the other side. So I just want to pull that back and knock it off. And I want to check out what it looks like. See what kind of fouling we have on it, the patch. Okay. See, there's a lot of fouling in there. There's even a little bit of blue already coming from the copper. We'll just put that down here. It's always nice to lay out your patches and you can see how they come cleaner as the cleaning process comes through. I'm going to withdraw my rod, and I always try to use the cloth just to wipe off any dirt that might come through, so it saves me having to push it down the next time with a dirty rod. So you have a nice clean rod again for the next patch. Just putting on the patch. Another well soaked patch with Eliminator. Dry off the excess from my hand. We'll guide this back down the bore. I can feel there that's where it's just about to enter the bore. So when I take the handle, once again, holding the handle only, holding the stock, push the rod down. Pop out the other end. I'll just take that patch off. You can see straight away on this patch there are some fouling, but it's very, very blue, meaning the Eliminator is reacting with the copper already. That's how quickly the Eliminator can work. on a freshly fired bore. I hope the light can capture that because it is really, really blue, a turquoise blue. Once again, withdraw the rod gently, cleaning it on the way out. Ensure your patch jag isn't loose, so it doesn't come loose in the barrel, and apply another patch as we put it through the centre. Give an even covering. Once again, more eliminator. Really well soaked patch. Dry off the excess. And gently guide it through the rod and into the bore. Once again, a nice firm grip behind the rifle. Push it through gently. Now it pops. I can see from here it's very blue. See, once again, ample amount of eliminator, gets a good covering inside the bore, so you're not doing twice as much work. You can see this one is just more blue than the previous. Completely covered in blue. Draw a cleaning rod, cleaning it on the way out. Now that I've run 3 patches of eliminator through the bore, I'm going to put the nylon brush on. So I'm just going to first remove the jag pad. Put on the nylon brush and completely let it soak with eliminator, and then run it down the bore and make, as I say, 10 to 15 passes. So every pass is an in and out. So get a real good soaking. Clean off some of the excess. Just run down. Hands a little wipe. Should have some shop towels here, but I don't, just at the moment. Okay. Now with a good soaking of eliminator on the nylon brush, pass it down the bore. Ensure everything's tight. So I will be pushing it completely out the other end of the bore and bringing it back in at the muzzle. So I'll be taking it back in, out completely as the hairs change the direction, and pull it back to the chamber and back out. Between 10 and 15 passes. It's about 30 strokes. There's one. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Going to check it. That always have to check every few minutes that your brush is tight, so it's not coming off and possibly catching on the muzzle on the way in. So go for another 10 strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'll just clean the rod on the way out. What I like to do is apply some more eliminator just to give it another few strokes. Turn off the excess. Give it another 10 passes down and up the barrel. Okay, that's been good to loosen up all the fouling that's in there in the bore. We can let that sit, as BoreTech say, for about 5 minutes, let it react, and then we can run down some dry patches and we'll see how it comes out then. Let's remove the brush. We can prepare for the patches, but we'll leave that setting for 5 minutes. During that 5 odd minute resting period that you're going to let the eliminator work on the copper in the bore, you could clean your bolt. Give your bolt face a clean and check up your locking lugs, if you need any grease on them, and give it a light coating of oil if need be. So it's always use your time at the range or in the cleaning to the best of your advantage. Now that we've given it about 5 minutes or more rest of the eliminator working in the barrel, we're going to run a dry patch down through the barrel and we'll see what we come out with on the other end. We may have to continue with maybe half a dozen dry patches to see if we get any whiter or cleaner patches, and if it really comes out dirty we may have to go through the process of wet patches and eliminator down through the nylon brush once more, then dry patches. Let's see how we get on here. Once again, feed the dry patch through the bore guide. Once it engages the chamber and the barrel, push it through gently, letting the rod turn with the rifling. And I'll just take it off the other end. Because you don't want ever to drag your dirty patches back through your barrel. Okay, we can see here the eliminator has the patch completely saturated. That meant the barrel was really wet with the eliminator and it's completely blue. Even it's coming onto my hand, it's blue. But you should probably wear little surgical gloves or so in the cleaning process. And I clean the rod on the way back as I extract it from the bore. And feed on another clean patch. Once again, guide it into the rifle and let it slip down the bore. See, we're getting some white on the patch. The patch is a bit drier now, but still very blue. It's a lighter shade of blue due to it's been drier. Clean the rod on the way back out. As you can see, sometimes in this example, the little jag is coming a little bit loose through the rifling and turning. So just tighten it back up. Make sure we don't do any damage on the way back in through the bore with the sharp edges. Apply a third dry patch. Get it down the bore. Gently push it out the other end and remove it. See, we're getting a lot more white. Bit of blue around the edges here. Dry off any excess maybe on the rod. Apply a fourth patch. Dry patch. You can find it getting smoother as it gets drier, pushing the patch down the bore. Just remove it. See the difference already within 4 patches. A couple of bits marked here for copper, but a lot of white, dry patch. Once again, extract the rod, ensure the jags are tight. Apply another dry patch. And just continue this process until we at least see maybe 6-7 patches. And hopefully we'll come out eventually with a patch as close to white as this. Maybe a small mark here or there, but be very insignificant. Remove that patch. As you can see, it's getting lighter as the copper cleans out of the barrel. Apply an additional dry patch, feed it back down the barrel. Holding the rifle steady, feeding the patch down gently, letting the rifle rotate the rod. Comes out the other end. As you can see, we're almost there. Extract the rod once more. Patches that I'm using are Butch's triple twill patches. They come in 1000 in the box, and they're 1/8 square patches. So they're about 1 inch or so. 1 inch square. We just maybe need another 2 or 3, and I'd be happy that the bore would be pretty clean. And if I wanted to store the rifle, I can run a little bit of gun oil down there on a patch and store it away. It's going away for a long time, but as I will be using this rifle tomorrow, I'm just going to dry it out and leave it dry. and after tomorrow's cleaning session it'll be stored away for a few weeks. So I'll put a little bit of gun oil down it just to keep it protected and keep it healthy. Remove the patch. And you can see just a little bit of rifling, maybe has a bit of carbon and copper in it. Once more, another dry patch, gauges the rifle, gently push it through. And we're almost there. It's a lot lighter, a few marks here, a mark here. We're almost there with the cleaning process. Some cleaning processes, depends on which way people like to do it, can last for up to an hour or more. But with this BoreTech Eliminator, I found that it really sort of halved, even quartered some cleaning process. So it gives me more time for shooting, which is the enjoyable part.